Welcome to the pineapple cluster tutorial. Starting off, I'm using a number 7 4.5 millimeter hook. I'm also using a number 4 worsted weight cotton. This happens to be I Love This Cotton in taupe. This particular pattern calls for a beginning chain with any even number, and since my go-to for dishcloths tends to be around the 34 to 36 mark, I chained 34, and then also for the foundation chain you need to add an additional 2 stitches. So whatever your even number is, before you start into the pattern, you need to add an additional 2. So I have a total of 36. We're going to start right on with the pattern stitch itself, the pineapple cluster, and we're going to do that in the 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the pineapple cluster is a yarn over, go into the indicated stitch, yarn over and pull up. Do that again, and one more time. All in the same stitch. You're going to pull through all but the last loop on the hook, and then you're going to pull through the 2 remaining. Chain 1. You're going to skip 1 chain, and in the next chain after that, you're going to do that pineapple cluster one more time. All right, pull through all but the last one, pull through the last 2. Chain 1. Go ahead and skip another chain and do another pineapple cluster. Yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull up. Go through all of them but the last, and then the last 2. Chain 1. All right, go ahead and continue that to the other side. I'll meet you back up when we get to this end. We're going to do something a little bit different at the end of that row. All right, I'm over to the last 2 chains on my beginning foundation chain. I'm going to skip that last one, and I'm just going to put a regular double crochet into that last chain. Don't put a cluster there, okay? Next, you're going to chain 3. We're not going to change our colors. We're just going to stick with one color on this dishcloth. So go ahead and turn your work. This is going to be considered the wrong side of your work. We are going to begin working the pineapple cluster right away again, just like we did on the first row. And we're going to do it in the first chain 1 space that's available there. And just like you did on the foundation chain, you're going to skip 1 and go into the next one. So you're going to skip the pineapple cluster from the row below, and you're going to put a pineapple cluster into the chain 1 space. And chain 1, skip 1, and pineapple. Okay, this is the pattern that you're going to repeat all the way across, working in the chain 1 spaces. I'll see you at this other end. Okay, I'm at the other end, and I am going to cluster into that last chain 1 space. I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to put a double crochet into that original turning chain that we had, into the top chain, not into the cluster itself, but the top chain. Okay, now chain 3 and turn. Now what we were working on was the back side of our work, and actually you can pick and choose which side you want to be your front side. But if you want to pick one side just to help you remember that you've chosen a side, maybe you could stick a little marker on there. Now, once again, this is just the easiest pattern in the world here. And so we're just gonna go ahead and cluster right away. This should be a nice, simple dishcloth for you to finish up quickly, actually. And the reason why it's called a pineapple stitch is if you look at it, it's got kind of that bubble on the bottom with a little bit of a stalk on the top. Pineapple cluster. All right, go ahead and keep going. I'm going to come back after a few rows and see how you're doing. Alrighty, how do you think you did? I went ahead and I repeated row number 2 a total of 10 more times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And, you know, I'm happy with that. I really like the clean straight lines that are happening here, but we're going to put a nice simple border on here because if we're going to be using this as like a face cloth or something like that, because this would make a really great face cloth, then, you know, I think that it would benefit to have a nice solid border on there. So what I did is I chained 1 and I'm turning my work. I'm going to go ahead and single crochet into each double crochet and each pineapple stitch and each chain 1. So basically doing a solid row of single crochet. And we're actually going to do this as a complete border all the way around. Okay, here we're approaching our first corner. There's that last pineapple. And now I'm going to put a single crochet and a chain 2. And I'm going to put another single crochet into that same top chain. We're making a corner there. Now for each double crochet side, so every time that you chained a 3 or you did a double crochet to begin or end your row, that they all count as a double crochet. And we're going to use 2 stitches along the side on each row end to fill that in. So we're considering this first one that we put in right here as the first stitch in that row end. So put 1 more. Go ahead and skip this area. We're going to put 2 single crochet into the next row end and skip that. Another 2 single crochet. So in each row end, just going around the post and not necessarily into any of the loops, now we're on to the second corner. This is our first corner. Put 1 around the post, and then in this space right here where it's kind of turning here, this is actually the first stitch from the base row. This is where the first double crochet went in. So you're going to single crochet into that last spot. Chain 2. And now you're going to start working along the beginning chain end. You're going to put a single crochet into that same spot. And this is going to be like the chain 1. So go ahead and single crochet there. Just like you did across the top. Single crochet into each pineapple and chain 1. Okay, I'm to my third corner. So I'm going to single crochet into my last pineapple, and in the original turning chain we are going to use that bottom chain as a stitch. If I can get there we go, and single crochet in there, chain 2, turn and go into that same space and single crochet. Now just put one single crochet into that, and just like the other side, put 2 single crochets into each row end. Okay, so I'm back to my starting corner where we began our edging. Around the post of that last double crochet, I put 1. We're going to put the final single crochet into that same space that we started with, and we will chain 2 and slip stitch to the first single crochet, like so. I'm going to go ahead and cut off this color, and I'll weave in my ends. Now you can leave it like this if you'd like. You could also change colors and go around one more time, you know, add a spa blue or something like that, just to kind of change it up and add in a few, you know, pretty tones. I'm going to go ahead and leave mine in a neutral tone because I like that kind of natural spa look to it. That concludes this week's Stitch of the Week, which is the pineapple cluster. Thanks for making the pineapple cluster face cloth with me. I hope that you enjoyed yourself, and we'll see you next week.